Hi, my name is Mariko Berg and I'm a realtor with BRIDGEWELL Real Estate Group here in Coquitlam, British Columbia, Canada. And it's a really busy week for us here at BRIDGEWELL. We have 2 completions this week and we have 2 new listings coming up. 1 new condo in Coquitlam and another detached home in Port Coquitlam. We have another new listing in Burnaby coming up next week. We had a couple things last week, so it's just been go, 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 especially with the beginning of September as things usually are. But I wanted to squeeze in a vlog for you guys today and just go through the difference between deposits and down payment. So here on my board here we have deposit and down payment, and really the big 2 differences with these are the time and the amount. A lot of buyers, when they're dealing with the purchase, they get these 2 confused, and the deposit is essentially an amount of money that is put down as good faith for purchasing the property, and the deposit forms a part of the down payment. So getting into time first, the time that you have to hand in the deposit is typically upon subject removal, or depending on how it's worded, it can be within 24 hours of subject removal. You always want to check how your contract is worded, whether the deposit is due upon subject removal or within 24 hours of subject removal, but it'll be after the subject removal period, within a short period of time. Different than the deposit, the down payment is actually due at completion. So when you are purchasing a property, assuming that you're going to be getting a mortgage, you are going to be putting money towards your purchase. That will be your down payment, the part that you actually put towards your purchase to fund your purchase. And then the rest will be essentially made up by a mortgage. So the difference between the purchase price and the mortgage is going to be your down payment. And this is paid at the completion time, and you're going to have to come and bring a bank draft to your notary or lawyer essentially to make up the funds to complete the property. The difference in the deposit and the down payment in terms of the amount is very, very different. The deposit in BC, there's no set amount. It doesn't need to be this amount, but the standard amount, I would say the industry standard, or the expected amount, is typically 5% of the purchase price. Now the down payment rules in BC are different. They actually are a set of rules. So it depends on the price at which you're purchasing at. It works on a sliding scale. So if you're purchasing a home under 500K, it's a minimum 5% down for properties up to 500K. If you are purchasing a home between the 500K mark and the $1 million mark, for the portion that is between 500K and $1 million, it's 10%. And for the portion that is less than 500,000, so $500,000, is 5%. So properties value between 500K to $1 million. It is 5% on the first 500K, and then 10% on portion between 500 and 1 million. And then for properties that are over the $1 million mark and above, you require a minimum of 20% down payment on the entire purchase price. Not like the portion between 500 and $1 million. It's just anything over $1 million, you need to have a minimum 20% down payment on the entire purchase price. So really these are the 2 big differences between the deposit and the down payment, is the time in which they're paid. Again, the deposit is going to be upon subject removal or within 24 hours of subject removal, given that your subject removal goes well and that you decide to remove subjects on the property. Whereas the down payment is going to be due at completion. And again, the deposit funds form a part of your total down payment. The difference is that the deposit is going to be 5% of the purchase price, regardless of what the purchase price of the property is. If it's $500,000, it's going to be 5% of that. If it's $1 million, it's going to be 5% of that. Typically, if you want to raise it, you certainly can, and it will show that you're very qualified to purchase the property, and might be an incentive for the seller to accept your offer over someone else's offer if you're in a multiple offer scenario. It can be a little bit harder to swing less than 5% because the sellers might question your ability to afford the property, but it's not to say that it can't be done. And then again, the down payment, you are going to want to look into minimum down payment rules a little bit more and maybe brush yourself up on that, because it can be a little bit more complicated than just a flat 5%. But again, the rules here in BC as of September 2018 are 5% if the property is within the 500K mark. If the property is between 500K and $1 million purchase price, it is 5% on the portion that's less than 500K and 10% on the portion that's between the 500K and the $1 million mark. And then again, for properties over $1 million, you're going to pay the 20% down payment on the entire purchase price.